It was beautiful, man. I mean, just the way you controlled, the way you switched things up, the way you controlled the pace of the fight, the defense. Your defense was on point. Those hooks that you were landing in close were magnificent. It was a brilliant fight, man. I mean, I'm sure you appreciate it. I'm sure you watched it a bunch of times. But, man, that was like a real – because it was such a mainstream fight, such a huge fight where everybody was paying attention to it and talking about it, even casuals, that they got to see you perform that way. And, now it's like there's no dispute. You're the number one pound-for-pound guy on earth.
Yeah. That's something that I got to credit to my coaches, because we drilled everything that you seen fight night. We drilled it time and time again. So it came natural and easy for me when the fight came. Like I said, only thing they kept saying, how he's going to beat me is because he's bigger and he's stronger. That was it.
You look stronger.
Of course. And I was just like, how do you know he's stronger than me?
Right.
He might be bigger than me, but big don't mean stronger.
Well, he's just taller than you. You look more muscular than him, too. But it was just the technique was what really stood out. It's like you just were a master in there. It was a master class.
And that's something that they wasn't giving me credit for as well.
How?
Because
that's the thing. It's like, how are they not?
I don't know what it is with me. They just always try to diminish my accomplishments and, who I was fighting. They say, you wasn't fighting nobody. And this guy, Errol Spence, is the most fundamentally sound fighter in the game. So that's why everybody was picking him. But I was favorite in Vegas, so Vegas must have had it right.
Yeah, well, the wise people picked you as a favorite, just based on your accomplishments. It's not like Errol Spence wasn't a great fighter. He's a great fighter. But it's so interesting when you watch a great fighter against what I believe is an all-time great. It's just that there's just levels upon levels upon levels upon levels.
When I came to the welterweight division, I called out all the champions, except Sean Porter. I called out all the champions. I wanted them all, at that time. And I wasn't able to get in the ring with any of them. And at that point in time, they was calling Errol Spence the boogeyman. And my reply was, how is he the boogeyman when I'm chasing him? I just wanted to prove to the world that I was better than what they say I was, because given the fact that how great I looked against each opponent, they say, he wasn't nothing, or he was this, he was that, because how talented I am.
Right.
So they didn't want to give me no credit because I passed all my tests with flying colors. So it was great to get in the ring with Errol Spence Jr. and do the same thing, if not better, than I did for the past opponents that I faced.
No, you were on fire. Was there anything unusual about that fight? Like, is that exactly how you expected the exchanges to go? I'm sure you watched a ton of tape on him, right?
Actually, I didn't.
Really?
I didn't, because I have a different style. They're not going to fight me the same style or the same way that they fought their previous opponents. They just not, So I already knew how he fought. I just watched probably like 2 fights of his just to get a feel for what he liked to do, what he don't like, the things that, I can capitalize on. And that's it. In my mind, I was just so filled with like the energy from the weigh-ins, the press conference, the weight, the moment. So I was like, man, I just want to go out there and, everybody's saying I'm too small, so I wanted to prove them wrong. Everybody was saying he was going to walk me down, so I was just like, man, they just don't know. Like, I just had that chip on my shoulder. Like, I just wanted to go head on with the bull and just go fight him. And it was like, just box. I was like, just box. And then I was remembering, I was like, he ever fought too many southpaws before? And then on one of the occasions, he got hurt real bad by a hook. So I was like, I'm coming out southpaw and we gonna box, just to start off. But at the same time, I'm gonna get my respect out the gate. I'm not gonna be doing all that moving. So the plan was never to move. And everybody, when you interview them, they was like, oh, Terence got to be slippery. He can't stand in front of Spence. He can't do this. He got to get on his bicycle. I'm like, he ain't no Terminator. I'm like, man, I'm going to be right there in front of him like I always do. I'm going to make him miss, I'm make him pay, and I'm going to fight my fight. So I feel like that was the key for the victory, because he wasn't used to fighting southpaws.
Somewhere in like the middle of the third, you started to turn the heat up. Then you started closing the distance and you were like smothering him. Like somewhere in the third, it seemed like you picked up the intensity. Is that when you felt like you started to get to him?
Yeah. I felt like I was in control the whole fight. The first round, neither one of us really did anything. We was kind of just filling each other out. The second round, he kind of started picking it up a little bit, and I caught him with them 2 shots. I feel like that's what led me to get more control, because I felt as if I caught him off guard. He wasn't expecting me to punch as hard as I did. So I could see on his face, he was kind of like, whoa, and then the rest, I was in control.